Alright, so, if you want to date these videos, I should mention that since, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday, we are now officially living in a post-Wooloo world. We know that Wooloo exists, and everything is brighter and better. So that's about the point this was recorded.
It was very sad to hear about all the Wooloos that were arrested at Pride.
They stick to their guns, and I appreciate them for that.
Oh yeah, I'm proud of them. It's just sad sad that it happened.
All cops are bastards, and all Wooloos are just adorable. It's a slightly longer acronym, but I think it works. So anyway, last time, as the game told us, we took on Erica at this gym, and we won, because we kind of had a lot going for us. Fire, flying bug.
We won because we're the only trainer on Earth that knows about type advantages.
So, with that finish, we're going to backtrack. Thankfully, we're finally done with Celadon City and its terrible slots that I hate. And we're going to be going back to the haunted town, Lavender Town. We didn't really get such a spooky adventure last time, but this time around, we have technology that can see ghosts, so here we go, I guess.
I'm not sure how this is going to help. We could always see those ghosts.
We couldn't see them well enough. Now, before they were, forms of mist with eyes in them, so they're gonna look completely different now. So this first floor of Pokemon Tower, this is nothing, this is just where Hideki was. Up here, though, is where stuff goes down because there's fog. Alright, so, here's this first lady. Having a bad time, I see. So these are channelers, they're possessed by their Pokemon. And here's Ghastly, the mist with eyes in it. See, there was an orb there all along. We couldn't have taken this guy on, not knowing there was an orb in there.
Ghastly are another Pokemon that are, supposed to be bigger than they're usually portrayed, right?
Well, we'll see in a moment, I suppose. How big are they usually? I think in the anime they were, the size of people's heads or a little more.
Yeah. I remember Haunters are actually, gigantic.
Terrifyingly gigantic, oh no. Ghastlies are also a little bit annoying with that Confuse Ray. Now, it's worth noting that Ghastlies are pretty important because in this original generation, they were pretty much the only— Oh my god, why are you doing this?
Wait, no! Ghastly, calm down!
So, Curse cuts the user's HP, which killed it, and in exchange, the person afflicted by it will lose HP each turn, sort of like a poison, but it's not like a specific status effect that gets its own little tab like the other ones like poison or whatever have you, so
it can affect poison types and it can't be cured by antidote, and there are reasons you might prefer it, but you would normally want to set it up sooner than that for that specific reason.
Yes, you will die if you use it wrong. Now, there is another thing worth noting about Curse. It actually differs depending on what type you use. Usually you'll see it used by Ghost type, in which case the Ghost type will do what it did there, it'll cut HP. Now, if you use it when you're not a Ghost type Pokemon, you basically lower your own speed and your attack and defense will go up. I will be honest though, I cannot recall any normal type Pokemon that just any other non-ghost types that know Curse.
I think Psyduck might know it? I remember using it as the Psyduck once.
Apparently Slowpokes know it?
I might have been thinking of Slowpoke. It said Psyduck.
Apparently Onix does as well?
This is a weird group. Anyways.
Yeah. So, more importantly, Shiitake is finally evolving. And now, it's really difficult for him to fit on anyone's head because he's got that big ol' mushroom, but he'll try. And that's that. Sorry, I was possessed.
Oh, Satan took over my body. It happens around here.
You say Satan take me a few too many times, and it actually happens. Egg on my face, I guess, but, these things happen when you work in an actual graveyard tower. Alright, so what I was mentioning earlier before a Ghastly just shoved a nail in its own head until it died, is the fact that in Gen 1, Ghastly was the only Ghost-type Pokemon, which means it had the very important role of being strong against Psychic types, which, considering Psychic types were powerhouses back then, was a pretty important role. However, there's a bit of a problem with that, actually, and that's the fact that Ghastly is also part Poison type. And Psychic's strong against Poison type. So, your only, amazingly effective weapon against Psychic types isn't really amazingly effective, because it will die in 10 seconds if you bring it out against a Psychic type.
And if you can't trade, you're stuck with a mid-level evolution, at best.
Yep. So, yeah. Gen 1 made some weird decisions, and that might actually be one of the worst ones.
People remember Gen 2 for introducing Dark types as another counter, but here's the thing, they also introduced another Ghost, and, I love Mischievous, but it's kind of worthless as, a tool.
I also like Mischievous, and it's usually my go-to Ghost type. I love them.
Right, but you couldn't do that in Gold and Silver because it only showed up in Victory Road.
Yep.
Or I think it only showed up in Mount Silver, the post game.
Oh god, in Heart Gold Soul Silver you can also find Mischievous in Safari Zone, but it also has to be the expanded Safari Zone that the game has to be running for a while after you unlock Safari Zone in order to get that. So it's a long time before Mischievous is actually, useful.
Yeah, God.
It's slightly more conceivable in Heart Gold Soul Silver. But even still, it is so weird.
Gen 2 was really weird about its Pokemon, because there was Mischievous that was only in, the post-game stuff. And also I think Houndour was only in Kanto.
I don't remember that.
I think the, fiction of it was that the Houndour are migratory. So they weren't in Kanto 3 years ago, but they are now.
And now they're not in Johto, because go to hell.
It's kind of neat, but it's weird that they're only in Kanto. That could be a good excuse as to why there are some in Kanto.
Yeah, I have been looking over the various Pokedexes recently, just to plan teams for the later games in the series whenever I get around to those. Oh, and by the way, here's Haunter. Didn't run into a Ghastly beforehand. We're not going to be using Haunter in the long run because Haunter's a mid-evolution, but, maybe if we run into a Ghastly, we'll get one of those. Anyway, though, yeah, it takes several generations for them to, actually maybe consider typings and making more unique ones.
Yeah, the Ghastly line is kind of iconic, so I feel like people don't realize how bad they kind of were at first gen, unless you really think about it.
Yeah, they are worthless against the things they were designed to be effective against.
Yeah, because, Alakazam is fast! It usually goes first. And that's all it has to do, is go first once.
Yeah, Ghastly line is also pretty frail at that. Oh, hey, that's cool.
Yeah, 5 feet tall.
And sick of me and all my rattling on. But anyway, yeah, Haunter's just terrifying.
Look at that icon.
I'm Haunter. I'll watch you in the night. But yeah, just Ghastly line is really frail, so it is just overall not good against Psychic types.
I like that Let's Go used Alolan versions. Just because, like, I like the aesthetic. It's neat. It's nice that they let some stuff, like, migrate in from other generations. But it also fixes a lot of the typing problems.
In which Gen 1 desperately needs.
Because you now have dark types. You have not better, but you have different ghost types that don't have the poison problem. You have better access to steel types.
Yeah, because, like, as much quality of life stuff is in this game and Leaf Green, like, there's not quite enough, because, again, Gen 1 had problems.
Like, it's astounding that we're not to her yet, but as hard as Sabrina is in this gen and first gen, in Let's Go, you can reasonably take her down with Eradicate.
That is a weird sentence.
I mean, it's a dark Eradicate, but it's Eradicate.
I know, but still. And we're getting another evolution.
You know, I felt like it was taking too long for your Pokemon to evolve, but clearly they were just all going to evolve in the same episode.
They're all just waiting to evolve together, because they're pals like that.
Hello, I made myself even creepier.
Alright, I'm gonna bean you with this coin. Because my strength is way better than my special.
My last form was a taper, but now I'm just a guy. I'm just a human person in a costume.
I'm just a strange man. Please do not read my Pokedex. Anyway, Mira is a perfectly respectable member of society. She just eats people's souls from... well, not even people, other Pokemon. She eats their souls. Oh yeah, Nightshade. I should mention Nightshade, because it's actually like a surprisingly useful move. It does a fixed amount of damage based on your level. So, you know, decent at level 24, especially since Char's not got the most HP, but just imagine what that does at level 100. I mean, it's easy to imagine, because it does 100 damage. Alright, so Takedown does a lot of normal damage, but also does hurt you a little bit when you do it. So I'm gonna take that because Char's fairly powerful. I probably won't use it that much, though.
Yeah. The recoil moves always scared me too much as a kid to use them. Also, I thought it was mean to the Pokemon.
A little bit, yeah.
But I think competitively they're, like, pretty useful.
Fairly so, yeah. Usually see people use that sort of move. I don't watch a lot of professional battles, but, like, you know, takedown's somewhat common, I think?
I would imagine it'd be more useful in, like, normal type Pokemon. I was gonna say, I started using them a bit more during my Let's Go playthrough, and they were pretty useful.
Ah, cool. So we have a space to heal in the middle of the tower, which is nice.
Okay, cool. Do you want to tell the other channelers about this? They're having a hard time.
I mean, they're possessed. It's too late for them. No, not zombies, ghosts. We also picked up the Cleanse tag, which, if you put it on the leader Pokemon of your party, encounters will not be completely negated, so if you want that to happen, you still need the, repels, but they will be reduced. So, not bad if you want a little bit of experience while you're traveling, but don't want, like, super frequent encounters. It does actually have its uses, because there are some places with just the worst encounter rates. I won't be using it very much, though, even though it would have made my life easier, and I honestly don't know why I didn't use it, other than the fact that, like, it does need to be on the lead Pokemon of your party, which does make it a little bit of a pain to use if you're switching out Pokemon. But if you're going through an area with like one consistent Pokemon, then it's fine. But areas that have random encounters but a lot of trainers with like varying Pokemon, it's probably too much of a hassle to use.
I always like seeing how different RPG systems handle, like, stopping random encounters. Well, they're not random, but people like the Earthbound method of if you can take them in one hit, you just KO them.
Yeah, you just win. It's
nice. Yeah, Jimmy and the Pulsating Mask lets you get rid of them if you want, after a certain level. I'm trying to remember how Octopath did it, because I don't think you could... Did you adjust the encounter rate in Octopath?
I don't think I ever tried to do that, and I don't know if you can. But Bravely Default, which, the studio also did, Square Enix did that, you can, in the remake, of course, which is the one America got, you can just set the encounter rate to higher, normal, lower, or just none, which is really useful when backtracking. It's like, oh, I'm midway through this dungeon, but I'm low on HP. Encounter's off. Alright, I'm going back to town now. I use that one a lot.
Octopath also had a method for getting out of random encounters. I think you could, like, pay some of them off? Or something?
Maybe? I know that's in, Exit Fate, of all things.
Okay, so again, I feel like there is some method, some mechanic in Octopath. It's also weird that the only company to get it completely right and just let you have complete control over the encounter rates is Square Enix.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they did, do a lot of games with random encounters, so eventually they sort of learned for one game.
They're so mainstream you'd think they'd never figure it out.
Alright, so, you might have noticed, but it took forever, but this is finally a random encounter Ghastly.
Oh yeah. I mean, hold on, I'm not done yet. I think the adjustable encounter rates were put in the Final Fantasy IX remake?
Yeah. They let you adjust a whole lot of stuff in that game, actually, which is nice.
Yeah, I feel like they realize that people are playing this because they're being told they have to, so let's make it easy on them.
Actually, not many people really like random encounters, actually.
Anyways, Let's Go is the best because the Pokemon are just there. Then you can touch them or not touch them.
Yeah, they'll also be there in certain areas in Sword and Shield, which is nice.
Ooh. Yeah, 4 feet tall.
This is a very large orb.
It's a bit bigger than a head.
Alright, so this particular Ghastly is Orujo, and being the only ghost type of this game, guess we're going with it as this party's ghost type.
You're not even evolving it?
I mean, I'll evolve it once. She's modest.
Honey, I would have helped you figure out netplay. I could have helped you get a Ganglar.
A Gangler?
Gengar. Shut up. Alright, that's it. We're redoing
I would like
this.
a Ganglar.
I don't know what you're talking about. Dacer was always in Pokemon. With his signature move, fuck everything.
And speaking of fuck everything, this is probably what that Cubone's saying. I always forget you can find Cubone in the Pokemon Tower. So, one nice thing about ghost types is they can't be hit by normal type moves. They also can't hit normal type Pokemon, but Cubone isn't. Cubone is ground type. And that's why I was looking at Cubone, because what can cause paralysis, it's a fairly weak move, though. It is actually pretty good for catching wild encounters, though, just because, it is weak and it can get paralysis. And Nightshade's also good because it does fixed damage, so no worry of criticals.
The causing paralysis was always weird because Wasn't some, like, chemical reaction? It was just supposed to represent the, like, shivers that would run through you if someone actually just fucking licked you like that?
Yeah, you just go, ew, gross, and then you can't really move. So yeah, that's Cubone. Cubone's had a hard life, guys.
All around me are familiar Cubones, worn out Cubones, worn out Cubones.
Okay, now you're a vampire, jeez. All of these channelers are just getting this wrong. One was like zombies, and this one's a vampire. No, it's just ghosts. It's purely ghosts. Look, you know what isn't useless? Throwing rocks. It's very effective. You really gotta stop using Spite first turn.
Stop banking on being slower than my Pokemon.
Very slow on the draw.
But yeah, it was always sort of weird just how many Pokemon have, like, pollution themes with them. Because we talked about how, well, like, every grass type except Tangela is hard poison. The only ghost Pokemon, like, its first version is, like, the embodiment of noxious gas.
You're not going to stop them by shutting down their illegal gambling house, though. You're just going to shut down the base below it, but the gambling house, it stays.
Also, all the plants are toxic. Sludge came to life, and even the ghosts are being poisoned, but our main problem is just the mob.
Alright, and now our third evolution of the episode, Candy.
Yet another Pokemon that's going to be hamstringed by poor net play on emulation devices.
I mean, if I really wanted to, I'm pretty sure VBA has a local thingamajig. That would just take effort, though.
I knew you should have done the Ultraviolet ROM.
Alright, and yet another Ghastly, but this one's strong. Hope you like fighting a whole lot of Ghastlies, because that's all you're going to be doing for a bit. What did you expect, Amelia? What did you expect? And a rare candy. So, I believe this is, well, not the final floor, but yes, indeed, it's the last Super Ghost floor. And it ends with another one of these ghosts. So yes, here's a little mini cutscene where we see that this is actually the Cubone's dead mom. And I just modded to make sure to show this off. If you try to use a Pokeball, it just dodges.
You need to turn that into an Ultra Instinct thing.
Oh, hey.
Or I will, at least.
So, Marowak tried to use the move Bone Boomerang, which is technically ground type. So, it missed Arujo because Arujo's got Levitate on her. Don't ask me how throwing a bone counts as a ground type move that can miss a thing that's floating. It just does. It's fine.
So anyways, two things. One, you picked up a rare candy earlier. Have you thought about why there might be candy next to a gravestone?
It's clearly for me, not for the dead Pokemon. Some kid came by and said, "Hello, my dead Pokemon, who I love. I'm just gonna put this here, and maybe Hotaru will come by and take it."
I really wish that, like, you could find a bunch of flowers? Because there are flower items in the game, right?
I don't know if it's this one.
But I wish that there were just a bunch of flowers in this floor. Like, you take them all as a kid, and then the next time you play it as an adult, you're like, oh no, I'm a monster.
Alright, so, let's see. Just decided to give Arujo a rare candy. Because Arujo's very low on levels.
You need to be stronger.
Come on, more special attack, please. Get huge, Arujo, get huge! I know I just picked you up randomly in this tower, but come on. Need you to be as powerful as possible to learn Confuse Ray. Oh, you better believe I'm gonna be learning Confuse Ray. So, I decided to get rid of Spite because, as useful as Spite can be for getting rid of, the PP on powerful moves, especially low PP moves like, I don't know, Hyper Beam or something, I figured, I don't need it that much. I also want to give her Shadow Ball, because that's just a helpful move. It's very strong. Yeah, that's 80 power. The one problem is it does lower special defense, but as we mentioned earlier, for some reason Ghost is physical, so it's a useful tag team move, I guess. But yeah, otherwise it is just a very strong Ghost type move, so that's why I want it. Alright, Arujo. Now you're prepared to take on Team Rocket! So, remember way back when we learned about Team Rocket's heinous crime of actual Pokemon murder? Well, now we're finally going to do something about it.
So anyways, I've been trying to remember. I used to watch a bunch of videos about creepypasta because I'm easily scared and most creepypasta isn't scary. And I would watch multiple videos on Lavender Town stuff because there was a lot of it, obviously, given the subject matter. And I'm trying to remember the one that tried to spread a rumor that the original version of the Marowak boss was a zombie trainer. It was called, like, Buried Alive, and it just popped up out of the ground to fight you. And I'm trying to remember, I was going to say an if you lost, because this is a creepypasta and it's too dumb to know how to make things believable. So, like, if you lost, it would kill you and erase your save.
Oh no, my save data! Anything but that!
Except now that I'm thinking about it, I think they said that if you won, he would kill you, and the game just ended there.
Oh well, at least in that case, I get my save data. Either way I die, but one is clearly worse than the other.
And I just remember the video of this, because the guy did a skit afterwards of like, so hey, we're thinking of the boss to put at Lavender Tower. Right now it's an undead trainer that destroys your game if you win. Maybe we should just make it a Marowak. Yeah, let's just do a Marowak. I might take the time to look it up. Because there's only so much we can talk about during trainer battles. Oh god, coughing, no!
Oh, coughing, you card. Anyway, thanks for making Mira unusable for the rest of this fight. Real nice of you. Well, I guess I could mention the Pokemon Let's Go version of the Marowak thing.
Oh yeah, even though I'm the one that played it, yeah, well I'm looking up creepypasta.
Well, you mentioned it. I know what it is, but you can explain it better.
Yeah, I actually forget if it's entirely a cutscene, but there is now a cutscene of Cubone being reunited with the ghost of its mom. And the ghost passes on peacefully, and you get to see it. The game doesn't just tell you in a sentence, hey, after you beat the shit out of it, it passed on peacefully. It actually gets to be reunited with its child.
Yeah. It's very bittersweet.
And also the Cubone that your rival catches is explicitly the Cubone that lost its mother.
Aww.
And your rival doesn't catch it so much as he adopts it.
This Pokemon's just sad. I don't want to put it in a ball.
It's like the Pokemon, like, when you first enter Lavender Town, you just see the Cubone going into Lavender Tower. Like, it's going in there to get revenge.
Just taking its one bone and charging in to beat up Team Rocket.
So, when I say the rival adopts it, I mean it's like, hey, you're going to get yourself killed if you throw yourself at these rocket dudes.
Don't worry, I have several other small animals who also have tragic backstories, probably.
Oh no, what if your rival just fills his team with sad Pokemon?
Trace is that rival's name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Trace just adopts all the saddest Pokemon. It's actually really cool. Everyone also always complains about the friendly rivals, but you know what? They're good people. Trace is here to adopt all the poor unfortunate Pokemon who also attempted some sort of revenge mission before he adopted them. Even the starter somehow.
Okay, I don't know if we're at this point of the Let's Play. Maybe I'll do this after the video ends and you can make it like a bonus video or something, but I just have the Buried Alive creepypasta and I kind of just want to read all of it.
Oh no.
It's all so dumb. Anyways, you now have a dinosaur beating up a rat.
That, on the other hand, is just smarts.
Yeah, that's all I can really think of what the Nido King and Queen are supposed to be. It's dinosaurs. Because otherwise they're just mascot costumes. You better not mess with us! I mean, you totally just did, and we're not any worse off for it.
You're not going to get away with this! Oh crap, I'm the last guy!
I came to call him Cubone's mother, and I did it. Me, Mr. Fuji, all by myself. You certainly didn't help.
Alright, I'm gonna take you back to my house, otherwise you will dig your way out of here. And that is incredibly disrespectful. Alright, so we got the Pokeflute, which is a story item. However, it can also be used in battle. Like, it's an unlimited use item that just wakes Pokemon up. It's pretty cool, actually.
Mr. Fuji bought stock in whatever company is competing with the company that produces Awakenings. He's trying to take out... No, he used to work for that company and they fired him. He's like, alright, fine.
I'll just make a flute then. What are you gonna do about that? Never need an awakening again. Wait, I can only make precisely one flute. Heck. Alright, so that's it for the very spooky cursed episode of Pokemon FireRed. Next time, we go to a different city.
See ya.